So this is the second and the last movie on the find functionality, the other options. We're going to look at specifying the formatting and how to do that. We're going to define the scope of the search. There's like 3 different scopes. We're going to search by rows, and we can also search by columns. And we have 3 choices as far as looking in the content of the cell. We can look in the formulas, we can look in the values, and we can look in comments. So this is find the other options. We're going to focus on the lower portion of this schedule, beginning with looking for format. I'm going to press Control F to get the dialog box again, and I'm going to have to drag it in again. I have a dual monitor system. It shows up on the left monitor. I just can't get it to show up on the right monitor unless I drag it in that way. So not a big deal, but okay, these are the default settings for the find box. There's a couple things I want to point out before we get started. One is that these settings are cumulative. When we establish more and more of these things, we are building the criteria or defining the criteria that's going to be used to compare against the content in the cell and to look for a match. One of the things we can define is the formatting. Now, I can put something in the find what box, which I'll do that just to make the point. And we're also going to look for formatting. So it isn't enough just to find the word bike, which is there on the worksheet, but I want to also find the formatting. There's a couple of different ways that I can set this up. I'm going to drop down and left-click Format, and Excel takes me to the Format dialog box. I've got a fill color that's blue. I've got a font that's bold and italicized. I'm going to left-click OK and Find Next or Find All, and I get a match. It's the cell that's currently the active cell. It's cell C20. But there's another way that we could set this up. And I'm going to clear the formatting from the search criteria. The second way, the easier way to do this, is to choose format from a cell. The find box disappears. I get a little eyedropper that I can sample the formatting. And in the preview, we see that we have the formatting of that cell I just sampled. And I can find all, and I get a match. Now I can instead clear this box and find all, and I get 2 matches. The current cell, C20, and the other cell that has the same formatting. And to show you that it actually has the same formatting, bold italicized, I'll just put the word match in there. So I'm going to clear the formatting again. The scope of the search. We touched on this in the last movie. If I select an area and I conduct a search, Excel will look in that area and only in that area for a match. If I instead select one cell on the worksheet and conduct a search, Excel will search through the entire worksheet. But there's one more scope option that we have, and that is to look in the whole workbook. I'm going to change the search criteria to the word region, left-click Find All, and we have matches on sheet 2 because I put that word on sheet 2. And we also get a match with regional because the word region is found within the word regional, going back to the other sheet. So that's the way we can determine the scope of the search. The default is the worksheet, and I'm going to take it back to the worksheet. We can also look and search by rows, which is the default, or by columns. If you have a small worksheet, it really doesn't make any difference, but you have a large worksheet and you're searching through, let's say, the whole workbook, it may make a difference. You can change the default by rows to have it search by columns. Finally, we can search in either the formulas, the values, or the comments. The easy way to remember this is when you're searching in formulas, it is what shows up in the formula bar. So when I select this cell, I see a formula that contains the numbers 5 and 6. It's 5 plus 6, the result of the formula. The value is in the active cell, C29, which is 11. So when I search in formulas for the number 5, find all, I'll get a match that includes that cell because it's looking in the formula. I can also look for values. I'm going to put the number 12 in there, left-click Find All, and I get a match on cell C30. The formula is 6 plus 6, If I look for a 6, I'd get a match for this formula, but I looked for the value, which is the result of the formula, the number 12. Finally, we can look in comments. You may have comments spread out throughout your workbook. You may have comments in places you don't remember putting comments in. So if you know what some content is in the comment, you can find the comment. I have one comment on this worksheet, and my name is in that comment. When I left-click Find All, I get the cell C31 that I have a comment in, and we can see the comment has my name in it. Finally, I'm going to close this dialog box, open it back up, Control F, drag it back in, and show you that the dialog box remembers what you put in as the last search. So when you close it and open it back up, it doesn't reset to all the defaults. I have all the settings that I last used. It's just something to keep in mind, because if you have this options closed and you don't see those other settings, you could get an inaccurate result thinking that you're looking for my name, and you don't know that you're looking for my name in the comments on the worksheet, for instance. So those are the find options, the other options. We looked at the formatting, and we can search for the formatting that matches the search criteria in cells. The scope of the search includes either the range that we selected, we can search in the worksheet, or we can expand the search to include the entire workbook. The default is the worksheet. We can also search by rows or columns. The default is by rows, but we can change that to have the search conducted by columns. And there's 3 different ways we can search for content. We can either look into formulas for the content, we can look into values, which is a result of the formula, or the text or values that's sitting in a cell without regard to a formula, and we can also search the comments for some content.